discussion at the
Santiza International has taken up the government's challenge of financing one of the key Vision 2030 flagship projects through a private placement program on the international financial markets. It is a domestic direct investment initiative which promotes local ownership and propagation of the community's underlying assets. Our main objective is to ensure that all members of the Isiolo community participate in the overall initiation and development of what has now been approved by the Kenya Investment Authority as the Isiolo Integrated and Planned Hub Project. Santiza believes that the Isiolo people must be given the opportunity to contribute regardless of one's social, economic, religious or ethnic background. Santiza International took the initiative to hold a consultative seminar with the representatives of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry Isiolo branch, who also represent the business community, and the Isiolo County Council Task Force on the project to map the way forward towards the achievement of this noble cause.
The story about the resort city has been, we have heard it in Isiolo for quite some time. We tried to have a discussion at the council level, but none of our councillors, none of us could give light on what resort city is. So I believe in our meeting here, for the time that we shall be here, at least we shall be enlightened so that the community down there at Isiolo will get enlightened also through us and through other meetings that we shall held in the future.
The issue of resort city that is planned to take place in Isiolo has been a long talk, and this is why I'm happy that Santiza Enterprise has decided to call us, to include us in the discussion about this matter. And we hope in fruitful information that we are going to generate out of this discussion, we are going to take into stock and impart to others, because we believe that all these can become a success if the very people we are representing as the council are aware.
Na furaha sana kwa sababu sasa naona there is some light kwa mbali, na furaha, na nadhani sisi kama viongozi ambao tuko hapa hivi tutajaribu kiasi tunaweza tuhakikishe hata wananchi wetu ambao wametuchagua watapata faida yetu ambayo mwaka fika.
The first time nilijua mambo ya niliposikia resort city issue, it was to me it was ni kama kifungua macho kwa maendeleo ya Isiolo district as a whole and Kenya in total, because resort city kulingana na ile nimesikia hiyo kana Florida na Dubai ni kitu kizuri ambaye inaweza jenga mji na ijenge Kenya mzima, and I'm seeing this thing ikifaulu kama kweli tutafuata hiyo bottom top approach, and I think that is why we are now here. This first meeting shows the light kwa hiyo mwelekeo ya bottom top approach.
The resort city is a flagship project. Ni project moja ambayo ni muhimu zaidi katika Vision 2030. Isiolo has been the headquarters of what was formerly known as the Northern Frontier District, which is now Eastern Province, Northeastern Province, and parts of the Rift Valley. The economic pillars of the 2030 vision, and it is supposed to now open up the whole of the northern region of Kenya, which has up to now been relatively, shall we say, underdeveloped in comparison to the rest of the nation. So we are faced with a unique responsibility in the sense that we can learn from the mistakes that have been made in development in the rest of the country, and we can build on those corrections to create a model that the rest of the country can follow. There's nobody who will come and tell us that this is how it is meant to be done. It is we to sit down and research the best way of going forward with a project like this one. For many people, the idea of building a city from the ground up is an alien idea. Most people expect cities just to develop by themselves. But if we are to look at the city of Nairobi as an example, Nairobi was planned. There was a master plan for Nairobi, which was developed by the colonial government in the 40s and 50s. Unfortunately, the plan has not been followed. And this is why we have the chaos that we have in Nairobi today. So gentlemen, our challenge is this. How can an Asian community take our own plans, build a city which has now surpassed Nairobi in every way? That is the challenge we're now faced with. Not only is it a challenge, it is also an opportunity. We have done a very rough extrapolation that we will need initially about $2 billion to work this project. And ultimately, we're looking at even up to 12 billion, but then that is in the future. The 2030 vision clearly states that the thing which is going to contribute to this project takeoff is availability of land. Isiolo is known to be one of the most controversial trust land areas in the entire world. And therefore many investors would shy from such a project. And therefore the land contribution will go a long way to assuring potential investors that Isiolo is ready and Isiolo is investment grade. We're actually following laid down procedures according to the Trust Land Act, which is setting apart land for the project. And I think when the Isiolo County Council approached President Kibaki, that was the first thing he told them. He said, provide the land as a council. That is the first step. And because of the new public-private partnership policy, central government is essentially only providing oversight. They're not the actual ones doing it. It has to begin as an initiative from the community. So for the land to be set apart, the community has to be heavily involved. And that is why we have proposed that the setting apart procedure should be followed legally and with community involvement, without which we cannot succeed. I think Dr. Gitu will back me up on that one. It just simply will not work. I know there's a lot of politics involved with setting apart, but now we leave it to you who are the politicians and the representatives of the community, because there our hands are tied. In fact, we're in your hands. And then number two, as a strategic partner, and the partnership will have to be, again, legally established, so that whatever we do, we're doing at the behest of and in partnership with the county council, so that by the time we're approaching international investors as a company, it is actually the community of Isiolo approaching them. But investors, being who they are, they don't want to deal with community. They want to deal with a single entity. And this is where the strategic partnership becomes very, very important.
The whole land of Isiolo district is terrestrial, so anything concerning the land must be addressed at the council level. We have what we call divisional land board at the council level, and it is the board which do everything concerning setting apart of any land for any purpose. It is the recommendation of that committee which is forwarded to the full council for adoption and now for approval by the ministry. We need a small committee of the council, first of all, to get to sit down with the concerned company and try to know more about Resort City. Then it's after that that the whole council will now get enlightened to know what Resort City is. Before we talk of giving out this piece of land for the process for the Resort City. In 2006, we had met with the excellent president, and one of the development projects that he has given us for Isiolo is the Resort City. Besides now the road, the abattoir, the airport. So one of the development projects for Isiolo was the Resort City. So it was something that we knew even before you people approached us. It's until that we know what the Resort City is, what it entails, what this land is all about, who should own this project. It is when the council will say that we have agreed to set up this land